remarkable seasons with the Rams. Donald is working out every day at the Rams facility, but has given no timetable of when he'll make a decision. Several thousand people showed up for the first day of training camp Wednesday in El Segundo for LA's other NFL team. The Chargers got a lot of love from fans who think this could be their year. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me put my hard hat on, go back outside, and see if these procrastination Crenshaw construction crews have shown up yet. I'm saving space for grace, but if these trucks don't show up soon, well, you already know. Destination Crenshaw, your time is up. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 and Bethesda Temple Church invite residents, churches, businesses, and community leaders along the Crenshaw corridor to join a vitally important community conversation Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. For years now, this community has been living with unkept promises and the devastating effects of the unfinished Destination Crenshaw construction project, leaving residents, businesses, and churches to deal with myriad problems, including the loss of parking, restricted access, traffic congestion, and a lack of emergency vehicle access when it matters most. For years now, Procrastination Crenshaw has directly contributed to the loss of customer revenue for local black-owned businesses and, sadly, has forced the closure of some businesses along this 1.3-mile corridor. For years now, churches have been experiencing decreased attendance due to the elimination of parking, and social service programs for vulnerable fellow citizens have been altogether halted. For years now, residents have watched their quality of life erode, and nothing has been done about it. If they think they can get away with treating black folk like second-class citizens, they better think again.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
This town hall meeting is a reckoning, a public witness, an opportunity for impacted community members to share their experiences for the public record as we prepare to hold those responsible accountable for this enduring nightmare. So please join us Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. This town hall meeting is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
And this is what it feels like. And this is what it feels like. The only reason I survive, cause it's special first. You get successful, then it gets stressful thirst. Gonna test you, see what your texture's worth. Diamonds and pipes, one of them pressure burst. Street, still I get checks and spurts. I'm for peace, but before I get pressed, I murk. Better days prayed for, but expecting worse. At this level, boy, I'm just less concerned. Cruising in the six, looking at the proceeds.
KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to James Farr. I'm sitting in for the Queen, Dominique DePrima. Hour 3. It's Thursday. It's hot. One more day to go, and then y'all get your Queen back. And I'm just grateful that she's allowed me to sit in with you guys, the delegation, all week long, and hold it down with Brother Miles. But joining me right now, she is a lead organizer and the part of the policy team and the justice team and many other teams with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, as well as Black Lives Matter Grassroots. Yeah, you see a theme here, right? Because policing and state-sanctioned violence, while crime is down in Los Angeles, police shootings, there was just a shooting yesterday. under the 10 freeway and under Normandy and in that area yesterday afternoon. Police haven't stopped shooting. Police haven't stopped being violent. And my guest right now, Sheila Bates, I don't think she would disagree with me that, in fact, it has gotten more violent. Good morning, Sheila Bates. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. I could use a cup of coffee, but someone in the chat said they'll meet me for coffee when I get off air. I was looking forward to having you in studio because, I've been in the community with you, Sister Bates, and as well as around the country, doing, observing and witnessing the work that you do, and you are about 17 pounds wet and come with a voice of 170 pounds. You are a fierce fighter and so informed. Where does all of that come from? See, I ain't never asked you nothing like this, Sheila. I got the mic, and I need to understand, where does that come from? Because I see it and I'm scared for myself.
First, I appreciate you having me on the show. And, I think it really comes from the ancestors and their demand for a better future for us, and continuing the work that they have done to get us thus far down Freedom's Road. And the fact that there's blood on the streets, and our people who have died at the hands of state-sanctioned violence from the time, and let's be real about it, that state-sanctioned violence started when our ancestors were stolen from the shores of Africa. And it also continued and is part of a larger legacy of this land being stolen from indigenous people, right? And so their blood and their spirits demand that we do something, and I heed that call, and I know that it's also a part of my own actual, family history. My grandfather was a labor union organizer with the UAW, and I grew up in a family where you can't just talk about it, you got to be about it. And
well, be about it. You are.
Be mad about. I've got a lot to be mad about, and I feel a need to do something about it.
I learned something, Sheila, the other day when Baba Akili was in here. And as long as I've known him, I never knew this and never asked, right? I had no reason to ask, right? And he just casually said it, right? And you'll understand and you'll relate, right? People often, criticize what activists do or advocates, right? Or I just say people just being people and standing up to injustice, right? But Baba Keeley casually laid on us how his hand was disfigured, right? I never knew that story. Never asked, right? Why would I? You know something about putting your body on the line intentionally when you go out to protest, but you don't do it reckless. I've seen it. I've been there. I understand what it is. But that can be an unintended consequence. And I don't want to trigger you and bring you into that, but how have you been able to move forward, right? In spite of, being assaulted by police in doing this work?
I think part of it is that I am incredibly stubborn. And so they did it.
117 pounds, 100. Yes, that she ain't lying.
I almost said a little stubborn. I was like, nah, that's a bold-faced lie. You are incredibly stubborn. I'm incredibly stubborn. And they use those tactics to try and deter people from continuing to do this work. And not only are they sending a message to that individual person who they attack in that moment, but to everybody around them and to anybody who hears about it. And so I'm incredibly stubborn, and if that's what they wanted, they're going to get the exact opposite. And I said the day that they brutalized me and arrested me before, coincidentally enough, is you think you scare us. What you fail to realize is that we're like Bebe's kids. We don't die, we multiply. And so it's really that. And we did. We came back the next week that night we had maybe a dozen folks there. That next week we had 60.
Mm-hmm.
So you came for me, but you also came from everybody who loves me.
Mm-hmm.
And community showed up, and I'm incredibly stubborn. You wanted me to go away and disappear and slink away. That is the opposite of what you got. You got me more fierce, and there's a bigger, deeper, more penetrating fire in my belly that's coming for all of y'all.
Well, you are so incredibly stubborn. You need that on a t-shirt. You are so incredibly stubborn. How incredibly stubborn is she, right? She is so incredibly stubborn that she didn't alter her actions or her behaviors or her advocacy. But I heard, I don't like reporting stuff, Sheila, that I can't verify. And so I'm glad I'm talking to you. But now I understand your stubbornness got you kicked out of City of Inglewood's city council meetings by Mayor Butts. Please tell me that ain't true.
It is true. And not only did he kick me out of every single meeting that I attended in Inglewood City Council, but he also kicked out the family. And not only did he kick out the family every single time that they came, but he also tried to ban the family for 120 days when he found and deemed their behavior to be inappropriate. Now, the wild thing is that this was incredibly illegal. It is a violation of our First Amendment rights, and it is a violation of the Brown Act. He cannot kick us out of future meetings for prior behavior. They cannot do that. He tried to ban the family and me for 3 months, for 120 days.
Wow.
I wasn't going to be able to go back to an Inglewood City Council meeting coincidentally on my birthday.
Wow.
And that would have been a great birthday present. But we showed up every week, and they, of course, rescinded the ban the day after they initiated the ban because they knew it was illegal and things were already coming up, and we were already mobilizing and moving around it and doing advocacy around it, so they rescinded it the next day, and we were planning on showing up to the next Inglewood City Council meeting anyway. We stayed there the day that they kicked us out. But doing that to the family is wild.
Yeah. But never mind. When we come forward, Sheila, I'm going to get into this conversation with you about pretextual stops. We're expecting a call from the Black Attorney General, Attorney Benjamin Crump, with an update on the Nolan Wells, texting with his office and staff right now. We'll bring Attorney Crump into the conversation just as soon as he is able to connect with us. Stay with us, folks. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
You can't fix what you won't face.
And we face it every day.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Ooh-wee, Fridays just got better. What's up? I'm Amanda Seals, and this is your invitation to come and sit with me. Yes, get seated as I do my thing on KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking noon to 2 p.m., then back again 4 to 6 p.m. Same day, same station. Bring your opinions, because you know I'm going to have mine. Bring your questions, because you know I got answers. And bring yourself, because, baby, we want you to be authentic at all times. Fridays on KBLA Talk 1580. I'll be waiting. Join me.
There is no denying that we've always been the conscience of this country. KBLA Talk 1580 is progressive talk radio built for our community, by our community, and with hosts who look like you, live near you, and care about what you care about. 50,000 watts of truth right here in Southern California. KBLA Talk 1580. Listen live on your AM radio dial at 1580 or stream us live on our KBLA1580.com website or on our free KBLA 1580 app.
Unapologetically progressive.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS is not slowing down, and the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank account, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, fighting to protect our clients' assets and secure them the best possible deal. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
As we go a little something like this.
Talkers Magazine has spoken. Out of every talk radio host in America, Tavis Smiley ranks number 14 on the Heavy 100 list. One of the top 15 most important voices in the nation, right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Unapologetically progressive, unapologetically powerful. Tune in weekdays on the 9s, 9 a.m. to noon or 9 p.m. to midnight. This is your station. This is your voice.
Let's get it on.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
That's right. Well, you're not waking up to Dominique DePrima. You're waking up with James Farr. I'm sitting in for Dominique DePrima all week long. Me, Miles, and Sheila Bates is joining us. And in just a moment, we just spoke with Attorney Crump. He will be calling in, and as soon as he calls, I'll make sure that we bring him in. But as I said earlier, he is at the National Urban League Conference, and we'll be holding a press conference a little bit later with the family of Nolan Wells. Every moment and every second this thing is updating, and let's go. Sister Sheila, you hold on. Let me get Attorney Benjamin Crump in the call. Attorney Crump, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Man, we're out here in the fight doing the work, but you are actually out there in the field, and I know you have a busy schedule today. You have a press conference today. So we wanted to check in with you as here in Los Angeles, folks are tracking this case. Folks are interested in understanding what we don't know. And one of the things that, kind of comes top to mind is, you've asked for, a collective look at the cell phone of Brother Wells. What do you expect that you'll find in that cell phone? Why is that such a contention point?
Well, James Farr, as I talked with you and Tavis Smiley and others, everything is an important aspect of this case until we find out what happened to Nolan Wells after he went missing on 4th of July on Horn Island, where he was the only young black man on the boat with the other white young men. And so his cell phone, his mother knows that the snaps were deleted. We want to see what snaps were deleted, if there were any other messages deleted, what they were. Mm-hmm. I think that'll be an important part of figuring out what happened and to why he is dead, and they have no answers. I mean, just think about it. If this was your child, this is every parent's worst nightmare, especially black parents' worst nightmare, that your child goes out and then goes missing, turns up dead, and then nobody has any answers. And it seems like you're fighting the entire system in the state of Mississippi to get to the truth of what happened. So that's why we're dotting every I, crossing every T. That's why we have an independent, autopsy done. Thank you to Colin Kaepernick and his group. And now we hired the best audio engineering experts to listen to this CETO, 911 call, as well as we are retaining oceanography engineering experts to study the ties, because it's highly questionable that he ends up 2 days later at the very place where they say he went missing at. It doesn't seem to correlate with the tides. So we're looking at everything.
Are the friends, the three friends, right, have they told is there a different story being told to you, your investigators, or perhaps to the initial statements that they have given to police? Because we understand if one story cracks, and I believe that's why you want to see that cell phone, because these people in general tell everything on their phone. There's a lot of insight there. Has any of their stories started to shake and crack or differ?
We don't know because they haven't talked to us at all. They have lawyers, and obviously the district attorney hasn't told us anything that they have in their investigation at all. But you are right, James. You are absolutely right that people put stuff in their cell phones that they know as private and confidential. So the question is, after Nolan Wells went missing, what were they texting on their cell phones? That is going to help us solve this matter. One way or the other, we're going to get to the truth of what happened. My last question, sir, and you let us know what you have going on at the National Urban League Conference. This, as I'm understanding, sir, the Horn Island, or the island in question, I'm not sure the name of it, is federal property, correct? Why? It is. Why isn't the FBI and the Justice Department? I mean, if this were to happen in a national park, who has jurisdiction? Why are we dealing with, Ocean Springs local officials? Yeah. Why? Those are questions. This is a federal. It happened on federal land. Hey, you are exactly right, James, and that is a question for the Trump Department of Justice and their Attorney General, the acting Attorney General. It seems like when there are things that happen in the black community, it is of not significance for them to open up a thorough investigation, but that will be the question that will continue to be asked until they let us know that they are investigating this matter. I know the Congressional Black Caucus is asking the same questions. We will find out if they're going to open an investigation into what happened to Nolan Wells, this 18-year-old black kid who went missing on 4th of July, where he was on a boat with his white teenage friends. What's happening later this morning at your press conference, and then let the delegation know how they can support the family, what's needed from us out here in California. Please let them know that Los Angeles, Altadena, the entire West Coast is right there in these two tragic stories. I don't want to conflate them in Mississippi with Baby Cohen and our dear brother, but what's happening at this press conference? I know you got to run, so I want to make sure we get that information out. So at the press conference here at the Urban League National Convention, we're going to not only be talking about Nolan Wells' case and giving major updates in that case, but we're also going to be talking about the tragic death of 18-year-old black male Daniel Irvin, who was very similar to Nolan Wells. I mean, they're talking about accidental drowning. He was with his two white friends. They threw away his cell phone. They threw away his clothes. They deleted all their text messages with him. And then 4 days later, they come forward finally to say, well, we threw away his stuff. They are charged with tampering with evidence, but they have not been charged with anything causing his death. So his mother has been bearing this cross alone, but she's not going to be alone anymore. Remember the name of Daniel Irvin. And then there's a third black 18-year-old who on 4th of July was the only black in a house where they were celebrating the 4th of July, somehow is shot in his head. And then the police call, they are told that he was playing Russian roulette. But yet, you can't make this stuff up, James. The police don't do a gunshot residue test on his hands. His mother and grandmother are outraged. They then say they collected the gun that they tell them he was shot with, and when they do their analysis, that gun does not match up with the casings that were found on the scene. And so now they have to go and track down everybody who was in the house. They don't voluntarily come. 7 days later, they surround the house of this young man who was there, and he finally comes out and he surrenders the gun that was the gun used in the killing of Tyler Smith. But yet, they don't charge him with murder or manslaughter or anything, even though he took the weapon that shot this young man in the head away from the house. I mean, you talking about a guilty action. You taking the gun that killed the person from the house, and you supposed to tell us that, oh, it was just an accident. He shot himself playing Russian roulette. Well, why did you take the gun away? So those are the things that are troubling, and I'm trying to make sure we bring light and attention to all these matters. So thank you, James. Thank you, Tavis Smiley. Thank y'all for always letting the people know in Los Angeles what happened to black people, even in Mississippi, is important to black people in Los Angeles.
Attorney Crump, I appreciate you taking the time to keep the delegation here on KBLA Talk 1580 out here in Los Angeles informed, and of course, keeping black media informed is so important, Attorney Crump, as you know. And so you have never not answered a call when it goes out. You have always been available. And for that, sir, I do appreciate you. I won't impede on the work that you're doing. Thank you so much. We will talk again, and it will one day be under a better circumstance, sir.
Amen. And thank you all for always fighting for Altadena.
Yes,
I love you, brother.
Love you
God
too,
bless.
sir. God bless you too. Thank you so much. Sheila Bates, you still there with me, sister? Did we lose Sheila? All right.
I am here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know you're muted. Thank you for that, Sheila. We wanted to make sure that we got that important update. As you are well aware, you know, Baba Keeley and Michael and Marquell and others in the, I think it's 50 chapters now in Black Lives Matter. 50. You know what? Did that increase from the last time I saw you? Like, wasn't it 50?
It did. So we officially onboarded 5 new chapters. We were at 51, and we've officially onboarded 5 new chapters as of July 13th of this year, and 2 of them are, well, we now have 2 international chapters, 1 in Sweden and 1 in Jamaica.
I told you I report facts. I had it. I was close enough. I thought maybe it's a rounding error. So, folks, y'all think that the work ain't being done. Y'all think that BLM is done. Well, you know, there is something. Well, that's Dr. Abdullah's story to tell. But there is a brand of BLM that throws galas and red carpets. That ain't these people. That ain't the ones I know. Didn't buy mansions. They over in community in a large non-air conditioned room, right, doing the work, not because they seek comfort, but because the work is uncomfortable. Sheila, when we come forward, we'll continue this conversation. News, sports up next, only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The city of Golden, Colorado initiated an independent investigation into a racist incident at one of its fire stations. Mayor Laura Weinberg announced that a black doll was found hanging from a rope in a station stairwell in March.
We failed our employees. We failed members of our community. We failed to meet the standard of respect and professionalism that every person deserves.
The discovery prompted an internal investigation and led to the termination of the employee responsible. Howard University says more than 200 students have been re-enrolled after providing needed information. Last week, hundreds of incoming first-year students were told they could not start classes next month. And the Tennessee Titans are taking part in the Ice Bucket Challenge to support former running back Chris Johnson following his ALS diagnosis. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers snapped a 4-game losing streak at home with a 4-2 win over Seattle Wednesday night. First win at home for the Dodgers since July 8th against Colorado. The Dodgers pitching staff had a much better performance than they did on Wednesday when they were tagged for 5 home runs. No homers for Seattle last night and no runs on the scoreboard until the 8th inning. Nothing new to report on Aaron Donald. The 10-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle is considering coming out of retirement at age 35. Donald retired in 2024 after 10 remarkable seasons with the Rams. Donald is working out every day at the Rams facility, but has given no timetable of when he'll make a decision. Several thousand people showed up for the first day of training camp Wednesday in El Segundo for LA's other NFL team. The Chargers got a lot of love from fans who think this could be their year. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8935. 800-575-8935. That's 800-575-8935.
Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
And that's right. Welcome back, KBLA Talk 1580. James Farr, I am in for Dominique DePrima this week, who is out queening, resting, doing all the things that I'm sure she enjoys doing. But wanted to let you know about this very, 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 very important town hall meeting happening tonight. Destination Crenshaw is behind schedule, years behind schedule. Residents, businesses, churches, artists, and other stakeholders have questions, and they deserve real answers, not just promises. And if empty promises poured concrete, this project would have been open years ago. Tonight, join us at the Community Town Hall to talk about the delays, the timeline, and what happens next for the Crenshaw corridor. This public hearing is your chance to get on the record and speak directly to the people making these decisions at City Hall. Join us tonight, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. Between the construction crawl and the parking spots, it has eaten alive. Rideshare is now less of a suggestion and more of a survival tactic around here. So please, rideshare if you can. And now, if you decide to drive, there is parking at the Chase Bank on the southwest corner of Crenshaw Boulevard and Vernon. Bethesda Temple Church will provide a shuttle. And if you cannot join us in person tonight, this public hearing will be broadcast live on the radio and streamed online at KBLA1580.com. Our town hall warm-up is hosted by our very own Dr. Neek Corte, and that starts at 6 p.m. Tavis Smiley will moderate the town hall at 6:30. Don't miss it. Your culture, our community, your community, our voice. I'll be there. You should be there. If you can't make it, tune in, and we'll talk about what we learned tomorrow morning. But right now, Sheila Bates is joining me on the line, and she is with the policy team with Black Lives Matter Los Angeles and Grassroots. Sheila Bates, you still there with me, sister?
Good morning. Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you so much for your patience. Now, we originally, well, we still are, right? But we were intending to talk about pretextual traffic stops, right? And the update that's happening in the city of Los Angeles. So let's baseline it there. What's happening with the pretextual stops ordinance, or that's moving through? And folks, first, Sheila, if you can kind of explain to folks what a pretextual stop is first, so they understand what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So a pretextual stop is when a cop pulls somebody over, and they say it's for one reason. It's usually for a minor traffic violation, such as somebody having something hanging from a rear view mirror, or perhaps their windows are too dark and too tinted, or they have a broken taillight. And they use that as a pretext to look for other quote-unquote crime. Mm-hmm. But what they're really doing, and we've seen the data, is that this is an excuse for them to pull over black people. Mm-hmm. This is how they are able to legally do driving while black and pulling over black people within the city of Los Angeles for no reason, and then looking for some reason to be able to continue to try and criminalize them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What's the risk in pretextual stops?
So there's a huge risk with pretextual stops, right? We know that Dante Wright in Minnesota was killed through a pretext stop. He had an air freshener hanging from his rear view mirror, and that killed him. Well, that didn't kill him. The cop who pulled him over then killed him. And she's actually up for parole soon, and she actually was one of the few police who was actually held criminally responsible, and she'll be out soon. Mm-hmm. And we see that this has happened across the country, right? We know that Dejan Kazee was pulled over while biking while black, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. While he was taking his laundry down the street. That was the sheriff's department. But regardless, right, we know that this continues to happen around the country and right here in Los Angeles. And so this was an attempt to end that. And so this motion was not only about pretextual stops, but it was also about what are called consent searches. And I say that with air quotes because there is no such thing as consent with police when they have a badge and a gun and they can take your life and your liberty. And so what this also does is it also ends consent searches, mm-hmm, or would end consent searches.
But police say, Sheila Bates, that this is proactive policing, right? This is how we get weapons off the street, right? This is how we get the bad people off the street, right? I mean, what is the public missing? What's in between what you're saying and what they're saying? Because the public seems to believe them in many respects.
Yeah, so these stops actually, first of all, cost taxpayers over $77 million annually.
Mm.
And we've seen that the majority of these stops are conducted and target and criminalize black folks and also brown folks. We know that black people are pulled over at a significantly higher rate than their population share, and we also know that these stops are not effective, that the majority of these stops do not yield any sort of criminal activity or any sort of evidence of any criminal activity. So they are literally wasting our money and criminalizing and harming people and traumatizing them and sometimes killing or brutalizing them in the process. And there is nothing to show for it.
You know, currently, so let's go backwards, right, Sheila? You know the history, and you have probably better than anybody else have tracked many of the incidents across the country, right? And you're talking about these pretextual stops, folks. You know, I've talked to white folks who said, I've never had a license plate on the front of my car. I didn't know that was even a thing, right? And you and I both know the other side of what the potentiality of that is, right? And so in 2020, right, we saw at mass folks come out, right, for Black Lives Matter and in response to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Philando Castile. Everything that was happening kind of at that time, right? And then we kind of saw this lull where, you know, Biden got elected. Our problems are over because the orange man is out of the office. And then those good white folks went home, right? And then now we don't see them again until this year when Renee Preddy and others were killed by ICE. We didn't see it for our brother Keith Porter, right? And so I think where I'm going with this is there an appetite now, because now the white folks are back out, right? Now everybody's paying attention, right? You and I have been saying the brother's been getting curbed and profiled for years, and those same white folks have been saying that's just good policing. Why is this coming up now in LA? I'm confused.
So that's a great question. And so this was actually a motion that was originally started in 2020. This was back when Mike Bonin was still a city council member.
Okay.
And so to put some more specifics on what we were just talking about, right? Since 2022, black people have been 1.9 to 2.7 times more likely to be searched than white people during minor traffic stops.
Mm-hmm.
And Latinx folks are 1.4 to 2.2 times more likely to be searched than white people. Now, remember those figures, because additionally, we were talking about how ineffective these stops were.
Mm-hmm.
In 2024, 490 people were this is by their own data, right? We know that there's actually way more than this, were subjected to LAPD consent searches during minor traffic stops, but only 7% ever yielded quote-unquote contraband.
Mm-hmm.
Conversely, it's 9% for white people. So it's actually more effective to pull over white people for this, because you're more likely to get contraband than it is for black people, and yet they continue to target black people.
And pretextual stops are bad. Why? If they are no, I mean they're horrible because of the potentiality. So what was that number again, Sheila? You said black folks. What's that percentage? I mean, y'all writing this stuff down, right? She's the policy person. She's not making this stuff up. If anybody knows, it's Sheila Bates. What was that percentage?
The percentage. I'm sorry. Which
black folks
about?
that fall into this web of pretextual stops.
Okay, so it's their contraband is 5%.
Okay.
So there's over a 90% failure rate for these stops.
Mm-hmm.
And black people they're almost 3 times more likely. Black people typically accounted for 27 to 32% of stops.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, we are only 8% of the population.
That's where I was going, Sheila. That's why I needed that number. Do that math for us real quick.
So that is 3 to 4 times more likely to be pulled over for our population share. So again, we are 8% of the population, yet represent 27 to 32% of traffic stops.
Wow. Now, how does the RIPA
And they say
data?
this isn't racist.
Well, how does the RIPA data? How is that informed and instructed? This ordinance that is bottlenecked in City Hall.
So that's how this initially started, was with Stop the Stops. And once that data came out from the RIPA board about how Black people were more likely to be pulled over for these stops, and we knew what the dangers were, right? We know that this means that Black people are more likely to be killed by the police. We know that they're more likely to be traumatized and brutalized by the police, but also that they're on the 5% chance that they do have contraband, right? Mm-hmm. That's also how they criminalize our folks.
Mm-hmm.
And that we also have to remember that this is the same police department that had a gang database that had children in it, like a literal baby in the gang database, and where they are asking for people's social media handles. And this is the same police department that, not shocking, was advertising to recruit in Breitbart.
Wow.
And this is the same police department that also was making a quote-unquote joke about George Floyd's death almost immediately after it came out, with a sick Valentine's Day card that said, "You take my breath away," with a picture of George Floyd on it.
Sick. Sheila Bates, policy team member, lead organizers, Black Lives Matter, Los Angeles, Black Lives Matter, grassroots. Y'all don't want to face off with Sheila. I'm telling you. She's meek. She's mild, but she is fierce and well informed, and one of my favorite people every time I have a chance to be in community with her, and really just to sit at her feet to kind of learn, right? Because we need everybody, right? How you show up and what your gifts are. Sheila is the policy person. So if there's a question I have, you have, Sheila is the person that I would go to understand policies. Sheila, stay with us. Continue this conversation. Want to learn exactly where we are in this process at City Hall with moving this through, what the bottlenecks are. Stay with us only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Well, that's right. Well, the conversation live does continue right now, not with Dominique DePrima. James Farr, I'm sitting in for Dominique DePrima this week, and right now I am joined on the line. She is the one of the lead policy coordinator with Black Lives Matter Grassroots and Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, Sheila Bates, and understanding what pretextual stops means, what it means for you, and why you should be paying attention to it. Sheila broke down some statistics before we came forward. In case the people in the back, Sheila, run that back one more time. You said we are 3 to 5 times, black folks, right, or 3 to 5 more times to have the contact with police as a result of a pretextual stop because of our population numbers. In case they missed that in the back, bring it back one more time, please.
Yes. So hold on, let me make sure that I'm getting this data correctly. So it is that we are 3 to 4 times more likely to be pulled over for our population share. So that means black people are typically account for 27 to 32% of stops, and yet we only represent 8% of the city's population. So that means we are 3 to 4 times more likely to be pulled over per our population share. And the other data point that we were talking about is the fact that these stops are incredibly ineffective, that there's a 91% failure rate, and that black people actually are less likely to have contraband than other people at a 5% rate.
See, sometimes you got to ask the question again to make sure, right? Like, hey, Miles, Sheila's not artificial intelligence, right? She didn't hallucinate a different response. She came right back to the same thing that she had told us earlier, and that's why I wanted to bring it back, because I don't think that landed on them, Sheila. So what's happening with this ordinance? Where is it bottlenecked? It's moved through the city council, right? Where's it at now?
Yes, so it actually passed through city council unanimously, which is rare for quote-unquote controversial issues, right? There should be nothing controversial about this. Many other cities have done it. Los Angeles would actually stand to be one of the strongest in the nation, but it actually passed through city council unanimously with the exception of the absence of Tracy Park, so it was unanimous because she was not there, and because of the city charter, the city council passing this motion, although important and a necessary step, they cannot actually, that does not mean that is going to change the directive and the policy of the Los Angeles Police Department, because per the city charter, city council does not have direct authority over the police department. That has to go through police commission. So since it passed through the city council unanimously, it then got kicked over to police commission, which we have to remember, police commissioners are, first of all, the chief of police is appointed by the mayor, and the police commissioners are also appointed by the mayor. Notice that I said appointed. These are not people who we voted on.
Correct.
These are not people who are accountable to us as the people, right? So it now sits at police commission where they hold their meetings every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. We were just there this week, on a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's now sitting there with a chief of police who has already said that he is not supportive of this policy. And it now sits in their purview, and they now have to pass it through in order for it to actually become department policy. And so we continue to attend. We've been attending police commission meetings since our inception, but we are continuing to attend those meetings, not only to push this, but also in the name of Keith Porter, also to end the flop contract. There's a lot that is moving at police commission that is important, and this is one of those pieces because we know that this could save people's lives and can prevent trauma.
Wow. Rob Battles was here with us a couple of days ago, and we talked about the charter reform that failed, right? And so Jasmine Canick was here Monday, and we talked about community organizing. And, you think about tenants in Los Angeles, 60% of the folks here are renters, right? And she brought something up that it floored me, Sheila Bates, that Los Angelinos hadn't organized a tenants union, right? And really been able to effectively push for legislation and policy, really legislation that would provide some relief in terms of rent control or rent stabilization or, something like that, right? And now you're telling us that the charter prohibits a motion that's passed by the city council, no less, is now bottlenecking something that, like you said, rarely do they ever agree on everything unanimously. I don't track their voting record like that. So what should the public know? What should they be concerned about? We got about 40 seconds before we got to land this thing, Sheila Bates.
What they should know is that we need to fire Jim McDonald because he is part of the holdup. And so if people want to join in that fight to fire McDonald, they can go to tinyurl.com/firemcdonald. That's with 2 N's and 2 L's. So one more time, that's tinyurl.com/fire McDonnell. Sign our petition so we can get rid of Chief McDonald, because we know that he is part of the reason why this motion is being held up. And additionally, we would love for folks to join us at police commission meetings on Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. so that we can continue to put pressure to fire McDonald and to also pass this through police commission so that we can save people's lives and we can make sure that people are able to move throughout the city safely without being pulled over for these minor traffic stops and being criminalized in the process.
Sheila Bates, I appreciate you so much, more than you know. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your witness. Thank you for your observation. And thank you for standing in the gap for so many families locally and across the country. Give my best to Dr. Abdullah and the rest of the team, and you guys keep up that amazing, fine work, all right?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Brother Jim.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, it's time to land this thing. It goes by fast. Make sure you're tapped in tomorrow. Grammy-nominated John B. will be in the studio. We're going to talk about some things. Tavis Smiley is up next, and he has an amazing lineup. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The city of Golden, Colorado initiated an independent investigation into a racist incident at one of its fire stations. Mayor Laura Weinberg announced that a black dog was found hanging from a rope in a station stairwell in March.
We failed our employees. We failed members of our community. We failed to meet the standard of respect and professionalism that every person deserves.
The discovery prompted an internal investigation and led to the termination of the employee responsible. Howard University says more than 200 students have been re-enrolled after providing needed information. Last week, hundreds of incoming first-year